This thing looks like V12 to me after I worked on the Spitfire engine. It was this size and this is now, wow! Now I have to get used to this size. Okay, let's see where were we with that thing. Oh, we had to replace the camshaft. Wow! How was I working on that before? My god. That's heavy. Okay guys, so I think I owe you some explanation here, right? Or at least I have to refresh your memory, because the last time I worked on this engine was months ago and probably you don't even remember what was the situation here. So that's the engine with the performance camshaft that we decided that we're gonna take out because the car was idling very rough, and basically this camshaft wasn't the best option for a car that is gonna be driven for pleasure and cruising on some country roads. So I took the camshaft out and ordered another one with standard cut, and also I ordered another rocker shaft because if you recall, the original one in this engine was worn in the area where the intake and the exhaust valves for the first cylinder are. So I got those parts now and I'm gonna install them in the engine. So I hope this is a good enough explanation for those of you who don't remember what was happening with this engine. But for the guys that are watching this as a playlist and probably watched the last episode about this engine just a couple of days ago, or maybe even a couple of hours ago, for them there's absolutely no problem. So let's start working on it. Okay, so we got this brand new camshaft from Moss Motors, the standard cut factory. So we're gonna set it up with the intake fully open at 110 after top dead center. But let's install it first and then we'll see. TR6 125 bhp. Beautiful. So if you remember when I was assembling the engine last time, I had trouble installing these rubber seals here on the side of the sealing block, and when I started the engine I noticed that there was a little bit of an oil leak here at the front end, and I'm guessing it was from these rubber pieces. So now when I ordered parts for the Spitfire and the camshaft for this engine and other stuff, I ordered these pieces of wood for here, so I'm gonna use them now to put them here because the rubber didn't go all the way in. So I managed to pull one of these out already, so now I'm gonna try to pull out the other one. I don't want to remove the sealing block because I'm gonna have to renew this gasket here between the front plate and the block. So I'm just gonna try to remove the seals from here. And I don't know why they have them this way. The grain of the wood is going this way, so it doesn't really make sense, because if you recall, when I was working on the Spitfire, I tried to put one in this way, like that, and it snapped. That's the one. So I don't think this is the right way. I think they need to go this way, like that. So I'm gonna cut two of them. I'm gonna cut them shorter like that, and I'm gonna push them in. Okay, so we got new shaft and we got two new rockers, because the two that were in the front, I don't think they're too bad, but still I want to be sure, to be on the safe side. That's why we bought two new ones for there. Okay, so let me see if I remember how to assemble it. So we know that this is the pedestal that needs to match this hole. So I need to have it this way around, and this is the screw that goes into this hole and fixes the pedestal in a position that the small hole matches the hole inside. So I'm gonna start from this end. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in all of them. If I have oil. Finally. Okay. So this one goes like that. Actually, that was the rocker that I had to change. These two rockers I have to change. So this one and this one. And they are handed. They are, as they call them, they are even and odd. So if you notice, they are different here. So that's very important to put them in the same order, you know. So this one needs to be replaced with this one, and this one is going to be for this one. Okay, so I'm going to take it out from this side now. I'll take this one out, and I'm going to put this one instead. So then on the other side, we need this one, but this one we're going to replace with this one, right? They are the same, so this one goes there, and this one comes here. Now we have to locate the hole and put the screw. So again, once you put the screw into the hole, this aligns the other end of this hole with the hole on the shaft, and the oil can travel through the whole shaft to all the rockers. So now I can make sure that they're not mixed up. Okay, so let me install it in the engine. Now I'm going to lubricate them very well. I kept it a little bit higher on purpose so I can still spin them and move them left and right so the oil can go everywhere. I'm gonna prime the oil system before I start it, but still I want it to be, I want to make sure that I have oil everywhere, because the first couple hundred revolutions of all the shafts and all the parts are very important. We don't want them to be on dry engine. Okay, so here I always do it very gently, a little bit at a time at each stud, so I don't bend the shaft, because some of the lifters are up now, the camshaft has lifted them up, and some are loose, and the ones that are up are going to prevent it from going down, and it's going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going a little bit at a time at all of them. And in the meantime I watch the push rods, because some of them, like this one, just escaped, so I had to put it back. So it looks like this cam has a much higher lift. I mean, the lobes are much higher, because now in this position at least 2 or 3 or a couple of valves should be loose, but there's not even one loose. And look at this one, how much is it closed now, how much is it open. That's extremely, this one and this one. This is the new one, the new rocker, so it's loose all the way. It's crazy. That's I don't know. I managed to loosen this one, and now it is now there is clearance, but all the rest, wow. Well, now I'm gonna loosen all of them, and I'm gonna have to install the timing mechanism first, time the engine, and then I'm gonna have to adjust the valves. I don't know how much to loosen them, but I'm gonna loosen them a lot. I don't think that this can happen in this engine, but there are some engines where if the valve is open too much in the wrong time, it can hit the piston. But here I don't think it's gonna happen. Anyways, they're loose now, so I'm gonna install the timing chain, and I'll see. I need to adjust somehow at least the 2 valves on the first cylinder so I can do the timing. Okay, so I installed the timing chain, the gear on the camshaft. I put my degree wheel here, it's not set yet, and I put my piston stop here so I can find the top dead center, the true top dead center of the crankshaft. And I haven't put the bolts yet for the cam, so the wheel spins freely around the cam. I don't turn the camshaft yet, and for the whole process I'm not going to explain it in too many details, because I already done that for the TR6 engine, for TR4 engine, for Spitfire engine. So I'm going to put all these links here, and if you want to see the whole process in details, you can go and check those videos. Now I'm going to still be telling you what I'm doing, but in not so many details, so I don't just repeat myself all over again. First I'm going to start by finding the top dead center of the crankshaft, and to do that I'm going to use my homemade piston stop. Again, I'm going to put a link to a video in which I built this piston stop, and I'm using this type of piston stop because it's the head is on, and I don't want to take the head off, obviously, just to time the engine. So I'm gonna use this type of piston stop to find the top dead center, and this is simply a spark plug which I drilled through and installed there, and I cut thread inside for a bolt, so I can tighten this bolt, and at some point it's gonna stop the piston somewhere before top dead center. Okay, here it stopped, and it stopped at exactly it's between 10 and 11 degrees. Okay, so I would say this is 10.5 before top dead center. Okay, now I'm gonna turn the wheel the other way, and I will see where it is gonna stop again. And it stopped at exactly 9.5. So it's 9.5 here, and if I move it to 10, this means that when I go the other way around, it was 10.5 there, it's gonna become 10 too. So I'm gonna move it by half a degree now. Now it is exactly 10. And this is exactly 10 on the other side of the top dead center, exactly. So now I can loosen the piston stop, and I know that my degree wheel is set. This means that if I put it at 0, this is my true top dead center here. So now that we know the top dead center of the crankshaft, we need to find the position of the camshaft in which the intake of the first cylinder is fully open. It is at its peak, and when it is there, I'm gonna remove the bolt. I'm gonna put it now, just so I'm able to spin it, and then I'm gonna remove the bolt, and I'm gonna turn the crank to a position of 110 after top dead center. And again, if you watch my other videos, you will find out why this is 110, and we will know that our timing is set. So I'm gonna put this bolt now here somewhere if I can. Yeah, doesn't really matter where for now. I'm putting it just so I'm able to turn the camshaft. Okay, now I'm watching the intake of the first cylinder, and when it starts to open, now the exhaust is open. When it starts to open the intake now, and when it goes all the way down, I know that this is somewhere here. This is my position in which it is fully open. It is at its peak. I don't know exactly, but now we're gonna find out with the dial gauge. And I'm turning it back now, and I will see when my dial gauge, I don't know if you see it very well. Okay, I will zoom you in a little bit, just so you can see the top of the degree wheel and the dial gauge at the same time. So now I'm gonna be turning it clockwise until the dial gauge shows me that the push rod stops moving up. So let's follow the gauge now. And here it stops. If I keep going, it's gonna go down, you see? So I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna go in the clockwise direction again so the chain doesn't have any slack in it. And now it still goes up. Here it stopped. So this is my highest position of the push rod. But as I explained in my other videos, this situation continues for a couple of degrees on the camshaft, because it reaches the lobe, it stays there for a couple of degrees on the camshaft, and then it starts going down. So we need to find the perfect center of the lobe. So here I'm gonna zero it, which it is almost at 0. Okay. And now I'm gonna go 50 thousandths down in both directions. Once in clockwise direction, once in the other direction. And I'm gonna take a note of the position of the crankshaft. And then I will know that the center between these two positions will be my peak of the lobe. So I'm gonna go clockwise first to 50 thousandths down. So this is right here, and my degree wheel is showing me 90, 100, 108 and a half, 108 and a half after top dead center. Okay, 108 and a half. So then I'm gonna do the same thing in the other direction, but I'm gonna go past 50 thou, and I'm gonna approach it in the clockwise direction, so there's no slack on the chain. Oops, I passed it again, so I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm sorry if I'm on your... my hand is on your way, but... Okay, just a little bit more. I wanna be super precise. Okay, right there. So now we are at 2 degrees before top dead center. Right? 2 degrees before top dead center. And on the other side we had 108 and a half, which means that we have total of 110 and a half. So we know that our peak of the lobe is between these two points, which means 55 and a quarter, right? So I'm gonna turn the crankshaft until the degree wheel shows me 55 and a quarter, and that's gonna be my peak of the lobe of the intake valve of the first cylinder. So now I'm looking at the degree wheel, 55 and a quarter, which is pretty much 55. Right there. So this is my peak of the lobe, right here. So now all I have to do is remove this bolt, and I will try not to move the camshaft at all. So I'm gonna be looking here, and I'm gonna change the position of the crank to 110 after top dead center. So now I should be able to turn the crank without turning the camshaft. Yeah, that's not moving. So 110 on the crank, right there. And now, in this position, I have to pull out the gear, turn it a couple of teeth until I have holes here to bolt to, and then I will be fine. Okay, I think this is the position in which I need to be. So I'm gonna put the bolt, and I'm gonna test it again. So now again I'm gonna go 50 thou down in both directions, and I will check the position of the crank. Again I'm gonna do it only clockwise. Okay, so that's 58 after top dead center. Good, now I'm gonna go in the other direction, 50 thou. Okay, 58, and now I am at 90, 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 168. 58 plus, what are we here, 100 and, actually that's, yeah, 100 plus 168 equals 226 divided by 2, that's 113. So we are 3 degrees retarded now. So we need to move our crank to 110. We need to be at exactly 110. So I'm going to put it at 113 now. 113, and this is our true center of the lobe there. But now again I'm gonna have to loosen this bolt. Something moved, that's why it happened, so it's good always to double check after you do your timing to make sure nothing moved. So now with the bolt out, I can turn the crank again to 110, right there. So I'm going to turn the gear by 90 degree, just so you know, when you turn it by 90 degree, because these holes are not perfectly 90 degree one to each other, and that gives you the possibility to move it by just a couple of degrees. Yes, there. Okay, so I'm gonna put the bolts with the tap washer now, because if everything is fine, I don't need to remove them anymore. Because I guess this time everything is gonna be fine. Okay, now we're gonna do the same test again. I'm gonna go counterclockwise first. 50 thousandths down. And that's 56. Okay, so we did something, obviously. And clockwise. That's 166 plus 56 equals 222 divided by 2 is 111. 111 is extremely close to 110, and I don't think that we can do any better than that. So I would say that our engine is timed right now. The cam is degreed, and we are ready to move on to the next step. And the next step is to adjust the gap of the valves. Hey, Elin, stop. That's enough. This video is already half an hour long and you keep going? You're good, carry it on. Anyways, most of the people know how to adjust their valves, so you shouldn't be so detailed. And if someone doesn't know and they want a specific video, you can always make it. So for now, just say thank you guys for subscribing and watching and commenting, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, you just said it. Okay, thanks. Bye. Okay, forget about it. Again. Okay. Okay, but not okay.